Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories, part 2. This Snapchat was the last photo ever taken of Sydney Loof, a woman who was killed by her Tinder date. Her body was cut into 14 different pieces, and when it was brought back to the morgue, it was in 6 different bags. This man was transferring oxygen tanks for 12 boys and their coach. He didn't have enough oxygen for himself, however, and died after losing consciousness in one of the cave's passageways. This man is Issei Sagawa, an actual cannibal from Japan. This photo was taken by a Japanese magazine after he was released from prison for insanity. The man in this photo, Franklin Floyd, married a woman and had custody over her children while she was in prison for 30 days. The girl in this photo is one of her children, whom Floyd kidnapped to start a new life with. He left the other siblings behind, and after this photo was taken, he went to another state, changed both of their names, and claimed her as his biological daughter. Later, he went on to marry her.
Normal photos with an extremely disturbing backstory. This guy, who we all should know, is John Lennon. This photo shows John signing an autograph for a man named Mark Chapman, the guy that later that day killed him. At first glance, this photo looks pretty normal, but just you wait. This guy right here is physician Harold Angu. In his hands is the nuclear core for the atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki, which killed over 80,000 people. At first glance, this photo doesn't look like much. Look at the guy on the top left, and what's in the background on the right. This was taken in the Tiananmen Square massacre. This photo was taken minutes before the extremely famous photo was taken. No one knows what happened to this guy, but doesn't look good. And this photo of astronauts just looks pretty normal. At this point, they didn't realize the space shuttle was imperably damaged. And a few days after this, they were all gone.
5 pictures with creepy backstories. This is a photo of Tyler Hadley at a party in his house. Just before this party, he had murdered his parents and hid their bodies in the master bedroom. The final picture of the Webster sisters taking a selfie, the light behind them is a train that kills them. Picture of Samantha taken by her killer. Her eyes were sewn open and makeup done in this ransom photo. Photo of John Lennon giving an autograph to a fan, Mark Chapman, the man who would murder him only hours later. Jeff Franklin grinning from the backseat of a police car after using a hatchet and sledgehammer to murder his parents and hurt his siblings.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 26. While this photo looks like it's some prop from Halloween, it's an actual living 2-headed dog that was created in 1959 by a mad Soviet scientist. He managed to create a 2-headed dog that could smell, move, see, hear, and even bark. While this appears to be an ordinary doll, it belongs to a Russian scholar, Anatoly Moskvin, who was arrested in 2011 for having the mummified remains of young girls in his apartment. Police found 26 of these dolls in his home. On Christmas Day in 1929, Charlie Lawson would murder his wife, 6 of his 7 children, and take his own life. This photo shows a nice, large family vacationing in Sweden in the 70s. The kid in the brown shirt, however, is a 14-year-old boy named Osama. Years later, Osama bin Laden founded the pan-Islamic militant group Al-Qaeda and was responsible for the 9/11 attacks. Normal-looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, part 18. The girl in this photo was arrested for torturing and killing animals. She filmed herself doing it and even posted it online. She hanged her dogs by their collars, nailed them to walls, and even shot them with an airsoft gun. She would then cut them open and rip out their internal organs. This sweet-looking little girl is Jeannie, also known as the Wild Child, who spent the first 13 years of her life chained to a chair, and this photo was taken moments after she'd just been rescued. This normal-looking scenic painting features the ocean with the night sky. However, it was painted by Adolf Hitler, whose dream in life was to become an artist. However, he failed the entrance exam to art school and ultimately gave up. These pieces of yarn in a first-grade classroom are the trajectories of the bullets fired by the Sandy Hook shooter in 2012, who killed 20 children and 6 adults. The reason that the angles are pointing downward is quite disturbing when you think about it.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories. This might look like a normal photo of a woman holding a dress, but the reality is so shocking. Her name is Ray Ann Mills, and she's holding the dress that she was wearing when her own mother sold her for $2. In this photo, you can see her siblings, and their mother who's turned away from the camera. Allegedly, her mother ended up doing this because she was getting evicted, but on August 27, 1950, Ray Ann claimed her mother sold her 5 children so she could have bingo money, and because the man she was dating didn't want anything to do with her children. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, Rayanne ended up at a farm and was made to work long hours. The mother ended up remarrying and having 4 more daughters that she kept. One of the only bright sides of this story is that years later the sisters were able to reunite.
Give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy. All for the love of you. Daisy, Daisy. Give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy. All for the love of you.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories. This one seems like a simple photo of some footprints. But these are the final footprints of a 4-year-old girl that drowned in the pond pictured in the back. You can even see where she sat down and played in the snow. This is Mark Jackson's basketball card. But in the background are sitting the Menendez brothers after killing their parents. This looks like a normal photo from someone's vacation, but it was actually found on a camera of 2 vacationers who were swept away by the 2004 tsunami.
Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy. All for the love of you.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories. This might look like a normal family photo, but the reality is terrifying. The man in the yellow sweater is named John and he's holding a baby named Heather. Heather grew up thinking she was adopted by John's brother, making John her uncle. But one day, a phone call changed everything. She had overheard a phone call saying her uncle was arrested. John Edward Robinson was connected to the deaths of multiple missing women, including 19-year-old Lisa Stassi, who was last seen with her 4-month-old daughter Tiffany, who went missing. And that's when Heather realized she's Tiffany. The man she thought was her uncle was actually her mother's killer. John had faked adoption papers and tricked his own brother into adopting his victim's daughter. And for 15 years, no one knew the truth. Follow for more.